In this video, we hope to give you some insight into the line of IsoAcoustics isolation platforms. IsoAcoustics is out of Canada, and they specialize in very well thought out products for both home and professional use. As you might guess from the name, these are all about isolating components, so let's get started. If you want to read more about the importance of proper isolation, be sure to check out the link in the description that will take you to our full article on audioadvice.com. There we take a deeper dive into how isolation works and what components will benefit the most from it. IsoAcoustics makes both isolation bases and isolation feet. We covered the feet in another video linked below. IsoAcoustics has two series of bases called the zaZen and the Delos. They both work in a very similar fashion, and picking the best one comes down to matching the size and weight of your component to the right base. Both of them work on the same principle of using a base with some degree of mass integrated with their special isolation feet. The base on the different models will vary in mass based on the weight of your component, and the feet are a similar design to that used in the award-winning IsoAcoustics Gaia series. These use a top isolator, a bottom isolator, and a component to connect the isolator to the base. The shape, stiffness, and materials of the feet used for each base are specially designed for the weight range of the base and your component. These feet are slightly recessed into the base for a look we feel is pretty cool. While you could just purchase the correct isolation feet for your component, you'll have to play around with the feet to get them positioned properly, and the base takes all the guesswork out of that. The base is also perfect for those turntables with a separate motor like a VPI or Project RPM series, plus the mass of the base itself will help most turntables in two products as well. The zaZen 1 is about 1.5 inches thick, while the zaZen 2 is 1.65 inches thick. You'll want to make sure your surface you are putting the base on is level first. The way the feet for the IsoAcoustic bases are designed does not lend them to be adjustable. If your component is less than 25 pounds in total weight, the zaZen 1 would be the perfect choice. The zaZen 2 is made for components weighing up to 40 pounds. Putting your turntable, tube component, or CD player on a zaZen base will usually greatly improve clarity and detail. We find the deeper bass tones your system can reproduce, the bigger the improvement you will hear. The name Delos comes from Greek mythology, meaning the floating island. The Delos lineup is broader than the zaZen with both size, weight limit, and wood species options. To work properly with the Delos, your component needs to be pretty heavy, weighing in at least 40 pounds or more. What is neat about the Delos is they can support gear weighing up to 100 pounds. This makes them perfect for some of those massive VPI and other larger turntables or big tube amps on the market. IsoAcoustics chose maple and walnut as the woods to use for the platform. Both of these hardwoods are used in the making of musical instruments from guitars to pianos. They take different sized pieces of wood, bond them together using a green type glue that dries quickly and is formaldehyde free. This results in a much stronger structure than a single piece of wood. This solid structure is then finished with a very durable urethane-based satin finish to keep it looking great for years. IsoAcoustics tells us the two finish options just come down to personal preference, and there's not a performance difference between the woods they can measure. Within each type of wood, there are two sizes and two different thicknesses. You'll find one to be 18 inches wide by 15 inches deep, and the other 22 inches wide by 16 inches deep. Then you get to choose between 1.5 inches or 3 inches thick. The thicker wood does provide more mass, so if your turntable is based on a massive type design, we suggest going with the 3-inch version. The smaller 1.5 inch version can support up to 65 pounds, and the thicker 3-inch model is best for components up to 55 pounds. When you move up to the larger models, your gear can be up to 100 pounds for the 1.5 inch thick model and up to 90 pounds for the 3-inch version. The 22 inch by 16 inch versions use 6 isolation feet compared to the 4 on the smaller ones. Adding mass and isolation to audio components, especially turntables, has been a path many music lovers have taken for decades. Whether it was a piece of granite, a heavy butcher block, or whatever, people have experimented with adding mass and isolation to help their gear sound better. Heck, I remember cutting tennis balls in half myself before there were any isolation components on the market to help out my turntable. I did a test with the new Mark Levinson ML5105 turntable, which in itself is a great table. It weighs 75 pounds and is pretty well isolated already. So we took the biggest IsoAcoustics base, listened to the turntable without it, then popped it under it, listened again, pulled it back out. The difference was just wow. Much better tracking, it sounded more effortless, bass tones sounded cleaner and clearer, and I just felt just like there was less surface noise even. It was pretty amazing. These new basses from IsoAcoustics allow many more people to experience what isolation is all about for less than ever before. Plus, with the Delos, they add that super cool factor a big piece of butcher block accomplishes with the added benefits of their isolation feed. Which model suits you comes down mostly to simply matching the weight of the component to the best bass. We do feel the 3-inch tall models are better suited for big turntables and tube amps that have a lot of mass. The benefits you'll hear from an isolation system has a lot to do with the acoustic profile of your room. If your gear happens to be sitting in a spot where it gets hit with a big bass mode, you'll likely hear huge benefits. If you have any questions on which of these basses might work best for your system, be sure to give us a call, chat with us on audioadvice.com, or stop into one of our Raleigh or Charlotte showrooms. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel so you never miss the latest home audio and home theater content. We'll see you next time.